today I have yet another amazing specific person manifestation success story for you from one of my clients who manifested her SP back. She was manifesting two specific people at the same time, and she ended up manifesting the one that she eventually fell in love with back after a breakup. I am going to read her email to you almost entirely. Usually when I receive a very long email for a success story, I tend to take the essentials of it for a video, just for the sake of the video, to not make it too long. But I couldn't shorten this email too much because she tells it so much in detail how she went through an emotional roller coaster and how she went through ups and downs. And I want to share this because since I opened this channel, I was made aware that many people get very discouraged by these success stories because they say it sounds like people manifest their desires so easily, so quickly. And for those who are going through a difficult circumstance, it can feel like if you're going through a difficult circumstance, you can't manifest. So in this email, she is really going into details about how horrible she had it for quite some time. And eventually she managed to manifest her desire. And it's such a wonderful story. I want to share this with you specifically to encourage everyone. And she sent the email to me and asked me to share it for that reason, because it's very helpful to know that other people are going through more or less the same harsh situations and still manifesting their specific person. And this is why circumstances don't matter. It's only your focus that matters. So if you need a more personalized help with your specific manifestations, you can book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. Check out the links for my courses also in the description box below, and let me read her email to you. Hey Anna, we worked together a while ago and I told you one day I'd get back to you with a success story. I can finally do that. I was casually dating some people while also trying to manifest my ex back. Your biggest advice to me was to work on self-concept. Well, I did, in a way. While I was focused on my ex, I had a flirtation with a man. I'm going to call him SP for this video, SP and X, who turned out to be a really amazing person. He treated me well enough to the point that I thought I'd actually like to see how this goes. I asked him out. After all, I thought if I truly can manifest anything, I can always just work on manifesting my ex if things don't work out with SP. I decided to try some of your suggestions for my first date with SP. You told me about following Neville Goddard's Feel It Real technique and to turn it into a sort of narrative and a scene and to really indulge it. I will stop very quickly here. Feel It Real in reality is a result of any technique. It's not, maybe you can call it a technique. I will get back to this one because this is very important. I got really elaborate with it. I was able to fantasize and romanticize the entire night in my mind. It became so easy to conceive of in my mind that it built my confidence in the idea that the night could possibly go that way. It did. The mood we were in was exactly as I wrote it to be. Our first kiss played out entirely as I imagined it, and the fun we had on our actual date, our intimacy, the feeling I had afterwards, it all happened the way it did in my little short story. SP treated me amazingly and my confidence shot up. I still had my ex in the back of my mind though, but I figured this was a fun enough distraction until my ex came back. But I still hadn't worked on my self-concept. Instead, I was using this relationship to ease my loneliness and pain and for outside validation rather than truly healing my image of myself as someone worthy of love. That didn't change the fact that SP and I actually did end up falling in love. Our relationship became serious. However, my self-sabotage behaviors remained the same. They were especially reinforced by how things ended with my ex. I still had my ex in the back of my mind, never fully let go of him because I had never fully let go of the old story attached to him, attached to my self-concept, attached to the same patterns. It wasn't helped by the fact that I started getting friendly text from my ex as well, asking if we could play video games or just to catch up. I indulged every now and then and told myself I still wanted to see where things went with SP, but keeping the idea of manifesting my ex back had become a sort of an accomplishment in my mind. It stopped being about him entirely and more about what this story represented to me. So the same relationship patterns began to manifest, the ones that led to my ex and breaking up. I became codependent and suspicious and insecure. I leaned on SP for validation and all but exhausted him until eventually he reached a breaking point. He said he couldn't take it anymore, that I made him want to be alone so bad. I was manipulative and exploited his love. He was done and not going back on it. He was firm. I was devastated. It was then I realized all of this and how I let it happen. I decided this was not going to happen again. I listened to subliminals. I affirmed. I pushed through every thought telling me he didn't love me, that I was broken, that I ruined things and redirected those thoughts. I looked at all the ways I was not taking charge of my life and was letting my emotions and old stories run the show rather than my mind. I decided that wouldn't be happening anymore. For 4 days, he didn't speak to me, and every morning I woke up sobbing. Every night I fell asleep sobbing. But with every negative feeling and thought, I told myself this is just because of an old 3D story. Let the emotions happen. I told myself things like, I am feeling this because he's feeling this too. I imagined him missing me as badly as I missed him. I imagined him crying over me, that I was the way I was over him. I remembered all the times he said he loved me and how I knew he meant it, how sad it must be for him to lose that. Completely turning the story around. I started seeing how good I was in his eyes. I put on nice makeup and went to work. I talked myself up out loud in the car. I thought all of the amazing times we had together and remembered how good it felt to hold his hand. Sure, the mornings and nights were hard, but by the middle of all of 4 of those days, I was filled with such a joy knowing this man loved me. Nothing could ever change that. He was the one I wanted. I knew it fully. With that, I made another big decision, the decision to fully leave my old self-concept behind. I texted my ex. I told him I couldn't be friendly anymore. It was keeping me in the energy of moving on rather than being my own sovereign, healed self. It was emotional weight I wasn't willing to keep myself attached to. Something I find fascinating is that he told me this entire time he had felt that way too, that there were times he really missed me and was finding it hard to move on as well. He often thought to himself, what if, and even found himself trying not to flirt with me whenever we did talk. That means it worked. I manifested my ex. He had been feeling the same about me the entire time. Finally, my opportunity to create a new story with him. And I didn't want it. Because I had grown beyond it, my self-concept knew that I deserved better than what he gave me. I deserved the type of love SP gave me. That took my belief in my manifestation power to another level. It didn't ease the pain of the 3D yet, but I let the emotions move through me. I didn't attach any meaning to them, but to tell myself things were changing. I had my proof. All I had to do was continue to know that SP was coming back too, because I manifested so much by now. After my nightly crying, when I became still and missed him most, I let my body relax. I listened to a meditation, and it was your advice that made those meditations effective. The imaginal act. Once again, I thought of myself holding his hand, looking into his eyes, how good it felt to be in love with him. And I told myself, if I can feel this right now so vividly, then it was in me all along. I created this situation. It was me that was the magnetic pull all along. He fell in love with me without me even trying. I fell asleep peacefully with that thought, and it made waking up with the same feeling easier each time. Even writing this, I can feel our relationship getting even closer. That lasted 4 days. At the end of the 4th day, I got a text. The breakup lasted 4 days, not this whole story. I got a text. I'd like to talk briefly tomorrow. It wasn't sweet, it wasn't affectionate, it didn't even sound like good news. The old me would attach a lot of meaning to the lack of warmth in the text, thinking it was bad news. But like I said, he missed me. I knew it and I felt it. We got on the phone and he told me he didn't want to break up. He could see that our relationship had so much value and I am his best friend, that he knows it's just communication issues that we can work through, and that he's never loved anyone the way he loves me, never had so much in common with someone, and he wants to put in the work on his end to bring our relationship back to a happy, healthy place. He even signed up for therapy too, so he could deal with his unhealed parts. We do have a lot to work on to heal what happened, but I believe with a few imaginal acts, loud music, and celebrating of my self-concept, those problems will dissolve in no time. In fact, I'm manifesting they do right now. Thank you so much for what you taught me. It brought me out of some very dark moments and into a light so powerful, I don't think I'll ever stop believing in myself again. I truly transformed my life every single day of those 4 days, going from the lowest lows to such loving, beautiful heights. I can get myself through anything. I love myself fully. I am peaceful and aligned. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a wonderful teacher, and your practical advice unfolded for me like a manifestation all its own. So much love to you. I am willing your success as well. So first of all, I am so happy for you. I'm so proud of you, and you did the work. Every single one of you who is manifesting, you are doing the work. My job is to guide you, and you do the work, and you have to put in the work. And this story shows how important it actually is. I keep saying this almost in all of my videos, that doing the work is essential, because the work is not going to do on its own. And when you have a story, that story is not going to change on its own or with time. You are the person who is going to change your own story. Now back to feeling it real. And the way she explains what she has done, she is so good. If you're listening to this, you are so good at getting into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, which is feeling it real. That in and of itself can be a technique if you can just switch everything off and just feel it real. But every other technique that we use, be it visualizations, be it affirmations / self-talk, be it inner conversations, anything that you do, the purpose of it is to get yourself from the current state into the state of feeling it real or feeling the wish fulfilled. It's the same thing. So this is why we do techniques, and this is why you can't force the techniques on you. It's better that you relax and you indulge in it like she did, and really get into it. But people do it differently, so this is going to be a bit different experience for everyone. But whatever you do with manifesting, the purpose of it is to change your own state of being. The rest will follow. And there are so many good points in this story. One of them is that this is probably the best thing, the practice of doing whatever you're doing to feel it real. She both affirmed and she also imagined. We talked about imagining different scenarios in her case because there were so many angles to this story. But pay attention to how she completely changed once she started seeing herself differently. So she changed her self-concept. And that is absolutely important for any manifestation. I have a whole playlist about self-concept that I'm going to link in the description box below for you to check out if you want to. But the reason self-concept is important is that it's the foundation of everything that you experience and everything that you manifest. So her example is so amazing because she manifested the same person before she worked on her on her self-concept, and she manifested that person after she worked on her self-concept. These are two different experiences. And the important thing about working with self-concept is that whatever you are manifesting, take her example, and many people are going through the same thing. I have had so many clients manifesting a specific person. This is something that repeats a lot. When you have a self-concept that isn't working in your favor, there's a lot of you don't deserve this, you're not loved, you're rejected, etc., etc. And you're manifesting the relationship, just the relationship. What you're doing is you're taking your self-concept with you into the relationship. So at some point it's going to come up and it manifests through the person you are interacting with. So in this case, her SP. And she got rejected, which didn't stop her from manifesting a very loving, beautiful, amazing relationship and love from that person. So she started working on her self-concept. Her person came back, reflecting back to her new self-concept. Now she is confident, she is in love with herself, which is the best thing that you can do, probably. And she knows her worth, she knows she deserves it. And with a self-concept like this is more of the self-love part of self-concept. Whatever you feel and think about yourself, the other person has to reflect it back to you. So therefore, super important thing to work on your self-concept if it needs attention, and still manifest your specific person regardless of the situation. Because as you heard her specific person broke up with her and didn't want to hear anything. He was firm, he was tired, he was really not his loving version. And as soon as she started changing her self-concept, the whole story around the relationship and the other person, all included, all of a sudden her SP calls back and says he doesn't want to break up with her. So everyone is you pushed out. Another good example of how everyone is you pushed out is the back and forth with her ex. She was back and forth about him in her mind. So was her ex in his behavior towards her. So everything you are experiencing in the 3D is a reflection of your mind. All you need to do is work with your own mind, with your concept of self, with your assumptions and stories you're telling yourself about the relationship you're in, the other person, or anything else that you are manifesting. I really hope this success story inspired you to keep going, because when you are being challenged by a 3D circumstance, it's very easy, or it can be very easy, to give up and to say this doesn't work, or I'm not good at this. It works. Her story is one of the best examples that it works. She went through hell, and she went through breakup, hot and cold behavior, and rejection, etc., etc. And she ended up manifesting a wonderful self-concept for her and a wonderful relationship. I wish her and every one of you a lot of love and success with your manifestations. Keep going. Do the work. Do what works for you. Don't force it. Don't do things that make you feel worse. And eventually your new assumptions will have to harden into fact. As Neville Goddard says, it's all in your hands and you can do it. You can do it. Even when you think you can't, you can. So again, I hope this was super inspiring for you. I am so, so, so happy and proud of you, dear client, who manifested your relationship. And for any one of you who needs a more personalized help with your manifestations, you can book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. Check out my courses. One of them is about negative emotions and how to release negative emotions. And also check out my playlist about self-concept. Super important in all your manifestations. Have a beautiful day and see you in the next video.